Stewart's introduction, he works with me also in Heavy Bridge in Arkansas. He came to our bridge division in, 1984?
I've got a whole bunch of questions about her pile driving.
Yeah, we're very interested. We're very interested in that. That was very.
That
we've been
honestly,
wanting to do that.
And Andy kind of showed y'all, just kind of talk to kind of spur this on. I'll go ahead. Ask your question, Mike.
Well, one thing is like we might have, if you have trouble with bridge people, welders, carpenters, and stuff, they're a little bit hard to keep. Do you pay yours more, or what do you do to keep your people with you?
Unfortunately, we do not pay them more. Recently, I think our civil service did increase, but it's still pretty low for a welder. So my crews are considered statewide, so they travel weekly, and they get a tax-free per diem, and they get vehicles, so they don't have to drive to work. And so that's the little perk working for statewide versus a district. And we do, I see some district guys back there, we do poach people from the districts with that. But that's really the incentive for working. And then the schedule, depending on the crew that you're on. If you're on the water crew, you want to be on the water, you're working on the water, you work Monday through Thursday, 410s. If you want to be on the land crews, you're on 8 days and then you're off 6 days. Down here in oil country, that's kind of common where you're on a week or two and then off a week or two. So kind of more my organization is how they end up working for us.
That's a lot of the same thing we do with our guys is that we work 410s, they travel weekly. Same thing, they're on a weekly per diem. Provide them with vehicles, and then with the upper management of the crews, and then they do a lot of carpooling so that these guys aren't traveling all over the state. Is that they'll pick them up, and we have 3 crews that report, got kind of strategically based over the state at different locations for emergency responses and things like that. So we've got them kind of spaced out, but then they may come from all over the place to get to their reporting station on that. Kind of going back to what I was saying is that's one of the things on my want list is what she's doing with the bridge replacements. I've plate's kind of full right now with a couple other things that we're doing. Andy kind of talked about some of the repairs, the accidents, and some of the more catastrophic things. Like say we do the bearing repairs that they do. Like say strengthening members. We'll actually do, like I say, he showed a bolted splice on that one bridge. That bridge was kind of one of those that it needed to go away, but we needed to do something, so we had that bolted splice there, and actually made it was a simple span. We actually made it continuous at that point. That's, anybody, how we do something, anybody interested? Jeff, all right, Jeff.
Do either one of your crews do any heat straightening of structural steel damaged by overhead vehicles?
We do. We do anything that we, like I say, any accidents or accidents that don't have an accident report, we'll do that. Generally, if it's done by the contractor, we have the contractor do it because we don't want to interfere with his operations if he's damaged a bridge on that. We actually we're just finishing. We're finishing up one. Actually, we had to move off of one. We've actually taken and replace beams, completely replace a beam, go in, take the deck off right where you've got continuity, replace the entire beam from use the similar type system with the Bailey trusses, go in, support the deck and raise it up a little bit, get a beam fabricated, put it back in place, re-pour the deck. On that, we've done partial replacements where we did not remove the entire beam, remove up to mid-flange depth, do a bolted splice at the ends, We do beam end repairs, like I say, where the end's rusted off. We go in and do T-splices, welded T-splices. That was one of the things Mike kind of alluded to on the welding, is that up until probably 9-10 months ago, for contract jobs, we had certified welders that required certified welders with that. State for in-house forces didn't really have anything. We've implemented a new policy where to weld on a bridge, even for in-house crews, you've got to be certified as a minimum of 4G, and going through that certification process right now of that. Like I say, 85% of our crew is certified or qualified in 4G, and we're pushing that out to our district crews to ensure better quality of our work.
Crews, we don't do heat straightening, but we contract that out, but they always assist the heat straightener, but we end up having to like diaphragm secondary members, or we'll fab up new members and install them after the girder, usually it's a girder, is straightened. We do the same kind of end girder repairs that he was describing. We typically try to do bolted connections though, because our load rating group prefers those, and that's fine with me, because then you don't have to make sure that your welder is there. But our welders are certified to weld on bridges.
Do you guys have open-ended contracts then with your suppliers? And are they bid annually? And then do you go to them like both at the same time and see who gets you the best price? How does that work for your materials?
Our materials go out for bid. I try to do my spans and caps on a project basis, but I'll just buy bridge piling in bulk. I ask my boss how much money can I spend. He'll give me a number, and I'll figure out about how much linear feet that's going to get me, and put it out for bid. And sheet pile, we do sheet pile abutment walls, so we have to stock sheet pile and any material that we have, timber for our fender systems, and it's usually just based on what budget I get.
We're about the same. Like I say, we're not doing the precast units yet. We don't have capabilities of doing piles. One of the things that we've got is that the Nucor is right down the road from us, so we're able to get delivery on steel products pretty quickly. One beam I was talking about on the steel beam is that we actually had to fabricate a beam. The beam was damaged and had it fabricated because of it was a 85-foot span, and we replaced it. So we, instead of us welding the shear connectors on and doing all the fabrication, we sent it to the fabrication shop, and it was on the interstate where Nucor is, and we watched the beam go by from Nucor after it had been rolled and to the fabrication plant or fabrication facilities. Some of our products, like our paint crew and our deck products, deck repair products and things like that, are done on a statewide contract. They're put out yearly on that. As far as steel products, reinforcing steel, steel beams, just miscellaneous things like that, is that they're done on a project by project basis. And a lot of times, you got good beams that come off a bridge. Like I say, sometimes they replace good bridges, and you got good steel. So we've got a policy that if a district wants beams, wants structural steel off of an existing bridge, that they can take them back into stock. We can get them from that. And then we've also got a policy or a program where if that bridge is coming from a particular county, that they are able to, the judge in that county is able to request structural steel beams, and then there's a documentation process where he has to build a quality bridge with those and incorporate it into a bridge structure. But we just, like I say, state gives them to them.
You indicated that the conditions may warrant longer piles, deeper drives, whatever. Do you generate then as-built drawings as the project goes on?
Yes. Once we build the bridge, and we keep pile driving records, and the engineer intern who works for me takes the standard plans, but creates a plan sheet specifically for that bridge site, and then records all the pile lengths for each bent on a sheet with it also to go into the bridge file.
Are you archiving them in the same manner that you did contract jobs?
Well, currently, our in-house ones kind of go in the database with our bridge inspection files, but I think we will probably start uploading them to our project-wise, which is where all the other plan sets are, just for, make sure everything's in the appropriate place.
Hayle, since y'all are able to replace bridges so cheaply and efficiently, have you guys spoken with administration to get another bridge crew?
We did get another bridge crew 2 years ago, and that's why I've been able to build them as fast as we've been building them, but I could get another bridge crew. I need the equipment, though, also.
Do you ever get involved with these capabilities in helping local owners, counties, or non-state?
So it's, I think it's part of state law that we cannot, DOTD cannot work on bridges that we do not own. But there have been cases where the governor has done an executive order where we have used in-house forces to work on locally owned bridges.
That's the same in Arkansas also.
Do you have a limit on the amount that you could spend on a state forest project? Like in Virginia, we can't spend over $600,000 on a single state forest project.
I think for years, Louisiana operated under that, but our current legal team says there's no limit, so.
We don't have enough money to do that, so.
Great discussion.
The preceding was produced by the National Center for Pavement Preservation. More information can be found on the web at pavementpreservation.org. Additional support provided by Michigan State University.